Yo, what's going on, yo? I'm JB Hoops, and today I've got my mid-March Madness Mock Draft 2.0, breaking down all 30 first round selections. Now, this isn't going to be what I think will happen, it's just how I would draft for each team right now. The draft order is just going to be the standings reversed, and I'm recording this just after the round of 32 wrapped up, and the Thunder vs Clippers game just ended. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that, but anyway, let's just get right into it. Starting us off with the number 1 pick in the 2025 draft, the Wizards are taking Cooper Flagg. Coop is straight up the best player in college basketball as a guy who turned 18 midway through the season. He was elite before he turned 18 and since then has been performing at an all-time great level. Dominating on both ends of the floor, showcasing his potential both on and off the ball, and right now he's on his way to leading Duke to a national championship. Bringing in Flagg as the franchise piece next to Alex Sarr and all the Wizards' young pieces would be an incredibly exciting core, so I have the Wizards taking Cooper Flagg with the first pick in the draft. With the second pick, I have the Jazz drafting Dylan Harper out of Rutgers. He had some struggles halfway through the season with the flu and an ankle injury, but he ended the year very strong, and his combination of creation, size, finishing, and developing shooting is very impressive. And in my opinion, he is the clear number 2 in this draft. The Jazz have some interesting guys for sure, but no real definitive building block, and Harper could be that guy for them, so I have the Jazz taking Dylan with the second pick in the draft. With pick 3, I have the Hornets taking VJ Edgecombe out of Baylor. The 6'5 freshman had his struggles throughout the year, but the ridiculous explosiveness, feel, shooting, and defensive upside make him worth a top 3 pick. The Hornets have some really talented offensive pieces, so adding a dynamic two-way wing to that core would be perfect. Edgecombe definitely has some things to clean up, but he should be able to leverage all of his strengths playing alongside a star like LaMelo, so I have VJ headed to the Hornets at 3. Now at 4, I have the Pelicans going with Jace Richardson out of Michigan State. Unfortunately, he had a stinker today, but still came up clutch with some big plays down the stretch. And overall, his efficiency, scoring bag, and touch is awesome. He's developed a ton over the course of the season and continued to show more and more, and he's just a dog. The Pels have an awesome core with Zion, Trey, Herb, and now Missy, so Richardson would be a seamless addition in that CJ type of role. In general, this might be a bit of a reach, but Jace makes a ton of sense in New Orleans, and I'm a huge fan of his upside. The Sixers are up at 5, and I have them going with Ace Bailey. The 6'10 Rutgers freshman is theoretically the perfect forward to put next to Embiid, Maxey, and Paul George, I guess, assuming Embiid returns to good health. He's a fantastic shooter, moves well, and with his size, athleticism, age, and flashes throughout the year should be a very intriguing pickup. I do think there are a few better prospects available at this point, but Ace Bailey could really thrive next to Embiid, so I have them taking him with the 5th pick in the draft. With the 6th pick, I have the Nets selecting Colin Murray-Boyles out of South Carolina. The Nets need talent all around, and CMB is one of the best bets on the board. He's super versatile, is awesome defensively, and his production in the SEC as a 19-year-old was ridiculous. The shooting will definitely be a point of contention, but he's super talented and has the physical tools and skill set to really make an impact. And it wouldn't shock me if he figured out the jumper a few years down the line. So I have the Nets taking Colin Murray-Boyles at 6. At 7, I have the Raptors going with the 7'2 Duke freshman, Carmen Malawach. Malawach has been excellent in his role for Duke, and I think he's capable of so much more on both ends. The Raptors also desperately need talent, and I think it's time they fully commit to the tank next year and move on from Pirtle. So adding an uber talented defensive anchor and play finisher at 7 to fit right in next to Scotty for the next decade plus would be a fantastic result for the Raps. Next up at 8, the Heat are taking Noah Asenge, the 6'9 French forward playing for Ulm. He's got a ton of room to grow for sure as one of the youngest guys in the class, but his tools, production against grown men, versatility on both ends, and feel are very impressive, and he just seems like a Heat type of pick, and they could really maximize his talents whilst improving their future by picking Asenge up at 8. The Bulls are on the board with the 9th pick, and I have them taking Thomas Sorber out of Georgetown. The Bulls have some interesting guys. Giddey has been awesome over the second half of the year, Kobe has stepped up, and Martis looks promising. But it's been a while since they've had a center to hold up their defense, and I think the 6'10 freshman could do exactly that. Sorber is also very skilled with ball in hand and would fit nicely into the Bulls offense. He does have his flaws and a foot injury might hurt his stock, but a big that can play D with some offensive upside is a huge need for the Bulls, and Thomas Sorber fits that mold perfectly. Now with the 10th pick, I have the Spurs going with Trey Johnson out of Texas. The Spurs have some wings that haven't really brought the impact they'd hoped, so going with Trey's shooting, shot making and tertiary playmaking makes a lot of sense. He'll probably have some struggles defensively and as a creator, but Wemby is probably the #1 weakness coverer in the league, so Johnson could really thrive by sticking in Texas and San Antonio. Next up at 11, I have the Blazers taking Georgia's Asa Newell. Asa is a fantastic athlete and play finisher that displayed his versatility this year, but still has quite a few areas he needs to work on. Portland have loads of fun young talent, Scoot looks significantly better this year, Sharp is electric, and Klingon should be their 5 of the future. They've also got some good older guys as well, so Asa should fit in really nicely, especially if the 3-ball can become a more consistent weapon for him, which I believe it could. He could play the 4 or the 5, and Klingon should help him a lot defensively, so I have the Blazers taking Asa Newell with pick 11. At 12, the Mavs take Jeremiah Fears out of Oklahoma. The 6'4" 18-year-old is a tough eval who had some awesome moments this year, but also some pretty rough stretches. His handle, advantage creation and passing is very impressive, and the idea of him learning the ropes from Kyrie is sick. I'm not sure how the Mavs will work post Luka, maybe they want a win now guy or end up trading the pick. But in this mock, I have them swinging on the tantalizing upside of Jeremiah Fears at 12. The Rockets are up at 13 with the Suns pick, and I have them taking the 6'7" freshman out of Duke, Con Knipple. The Rockets have tons of talented young guys, but you can always use versatile wings. And Con is the prototypical dribble pass shoot wing who's efficient, impactful, and has great feel. Houston could really use some tertiary creation and shooting as they are a bottom 10 shooting team, so I have Con headed to the Rockets at 13. The Hawks are on the clock at 14 with the Kings pick, and I have them going with the upside of Kasparas Yakashonis. Yakashonis got off to a great start, but struggled as the comp improved and the 3-ball slowed down. I don't think he'll be a top option creator with the poor athleticism, but as a secondary ball handler or 6-man could be very effective with his shooting, passing and size. The Hawks have a lot of talent, and this is probably as low as you can let KJ fall, so I have the Hawks taking Yakashonis at 14. At 15, I have the Magic drafting Miles Bird out of San Diego State. The 6'7" sophomore had some offensive struggles late in the season, but his skill set as a connector who wreaks havoc defensively is very valuable. Part of having him this high is because I buy the shot, and the Magic will desperately need that to be the case as they are the worst shooting team in basketball. So for now, I have the Magic taking Miles Bird with pick 15. The Spurs are back on the board at 16 with the Hawks pick, and I have them going with the 6'10" freshman out of Maryland, Derek Queen. Queen has been very good recently and just hit a game-winning fading pull-up against Colorado State. He's super skilled, polished, and an awesome passer. I'm not fully convinced in his NBA translation given the athletic limitations, but playing alongside Wemby should make reaching his potential a lot simpler, and it would be a great fit for sure. The Wolves are up next with the Pistons pick, and I have them taking Rasheer Fleming out of St. Joe's. With Naz Reid's future uncertain and Randall potentially not sticking around long term, an athletic 4 who can really shoot it and defends would be a great pickup. I'm not super confident in the shot, and the comp he faced wasn't great, but his archetype is perfect for the modern NBA, and Fleming could be a very valuable piece for the Wolves. The Thunder are on the clock with the Clippers pick at 18, and I have them going with JoJo Tugler out of Houston. The 6'8" sophomore with a plus 10 wingspan is a ridiculous defensive prospect, who's right amongst the leaders in multiple advanced metrics. The Thunder are a juggernaut, so they can afford to take a few swings. The Thunder are a juggernaut, so they can afford to take a swing on a raw talent with the upside of an all defensive player in Tugler, so I have the Thunder taking JoJo at 18. Now we have the Jazz with the Wolves pick, and I have them taking Rocco Zikarsky out of Brisbane. Rocco had a disappointing year with a few injuries and limited minutes, so his stock dropped a fair bit in the mainstream, but I'd definitely still bet on his upside as a fluid mover at 7'3" who protects the rim, is effective inside and is very skilled. And getting Harper a lob threat and defensive anchor could be very beneficial, with Kessler underperforming and being in trade rumors all the time, so I have the Jazz taking a swing on Zikarsky at 19. The Nets are back on the clock at 20 with the Bucks pick, and I have them going with LeBaron Philon out of Alabama. The Nets have 4 first rounders right now, so they'll probably trade a few, but Philon is the best player available in my opinion. He's had some scoring stinkers, but still contributes with his playmaking, pace, and defensive intensity, so I could definitely see him return to improve his offensive consistency and shooting, but for now, I have the Nets taking LeBaron Philon at 20. The Heat are up again with the Warriors pick 21, and I have them taking Will Riley out of Illinois. Riley had an up and down season and will need to get a lot stronger, so could probably benefit from another year. But he's got awesome touch, can really shoot it, and the playmaking and feel was very impressive. The Heat could definitely use some shooting and creation from their wing spots, and are a team that could be very beneficial for Riley's development, so I have the Heat taking Will Riley at 21. Next up at 22, the Pacers are taking Nick Clifford out of Colorado State. Clifford is a highly productive senior who does absolutely everything on both ends. He didn't play a ton of high-level comp and the shooting is a bit hit or miss, but the Pacers are solid at every position, so they don't really need anything. I just think Clifford could break through for whoever as a ready-now role player and be a very impactful rotational piece. The Wizards are up at 23 with the Grizzlies pick, and I have them going with the 6'6 Duke Jr. Tyrese Proctor. Proctor has been incredible so far in the tournament and was huge in the ACC Final 2. He's a nuclear shooter with beautiful form, has the size to defend multiple positions, and also has the ability to handle, create, and facilitate, whilst being a relatively young junior. And with Washington getting flagged, adding his teammate later in the first just makes a ton of sense, so I have the Wizards taking Tyrese Proctor at 23. Next up, we have the Hawks with the Lakers pick, and I have them selecting Henri Vassar out of Arizona. The 7-foot sophomore has been ultra productive and has stepped up big time over the second half of the season. The Hawks have some great young wings and already took Yakashonis, plus Capella is cooked, so I think adding a big here makes sense. He moves well, protects the rim, and is very skilled offensively. He was pretty ass today against Oregon, and if he stinks it up versus Duke, he might be out of first round contention. But for now, I have Vassar going to the Hawks at 24. The Magic are up at 25 with the Nuggets pick, and I have them taking Nolan Traore, the 6'5 guard playing for St. Quentin. Traore has had some really rough stretches, but has picked up his play as of late and still has a ton of upside as a downhill creator. Along with the horrible shooting, the Magic really lack guard creation, and whilst he has his warts for sure, Traore is as good a bet as you'll find at 25. We have the Nets back on the clock at 26 with the Knicks pick, and I have them going with Arizona's Carter Bryant. Carter Bryant could go a lot higher than this or potentially even lower. He's an explosive athlete with awesome defensive potential. He hasn't done much outside of fulfilling his off-ball role, but he's been very good in that role. But he's exactly the type of upside swing the Nets should take, so I have them taking Bryant with pick 26. The Nets are here again with the Rockets pick, and I have them taking Bennett Sturts out of Drake. I'm not confident Sturts stays in this draft, as he probably will look to transfer, but man can he hoop. And the Nets could really use a sturdy point guard. He's an awesome passer, shoots it, and is much more bursty than you'd expect. He could cook some dudes in workouts and boost his stock, but I'd definitely look to bring him in from the late first range, so I have the Nets taking Bennett Sturts at 27. At 28, I have the Celtics going with the 6'9 sophomore out of Texas Tech, JT Toppin. He's just super productive and dominant as a 19-year-old and could go very deep in the tourney. The Celtics have some aging bigs or guys with questionable viability or availability, so adding a versatile young piece to fit in alongside their stacked group would be a great pickup in the late first. So I have the Celtics taking JT Toppin at 28. The Suns are up next with the Cavs pick, and I have them taking Janai Broome. He was dominant over the first half of the year before getting injured, and once he came back from that ankle injury, he was a little less dominant and less efficient, but he should still be able to carve out a role as a well-rounded, highly skilled big, and the Suns are in desperate need of one. His recent play has been a little worrisome, but he's still worth a first round pick in my opinion, so I have the Suns taking Janai Broome at 29. Now finally, with the last pick of the first round, the Clippers are up with OKC's pick, and I have them going with Noah Pender. Pender is a Swiss Army knife type player who just makes things happen on both ends. He has great feel, is elite defensively, and has great size. The offense has a ways to go and he is a bit older, but the Clippers desperately need talent, so I have them taking Noah Pender at 30 to end off my mock draft 2.0. Alright, so that is my Mid Madness 2025 mock draft 2.0 done and dusted. Drop your thoughts in the comments, I'll make sure to reply. There's a few guys who just missed the cut or could be a lot higher or lower. The picks are just how I'm feeling right now. Make sure to like and subscribe, I really appreciate it. And anyway, that's all I got. JB Hoops out.